Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully, you're having a good week. It's, another Thursday. We're just getting through. We're burning through February, which is insane. I can't believe it's already like next week is like Valentine's Day, all that week from yesterday. Just wild to think about. But before we get into today's episode, just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Titleist and the brand new T-Series irons. If you haven't tried the brand new T100, T150, T200, or T350, you owe it to yourself to go try them out and get fit by a Titleist fitter. I had a blast doing my fitting. You guys know I got fit into a great set. 4 and 5 iron in the T200, then 6 through pitching wedge in the T150. I played great with those irons all last year. I'm excited to play them again this year, and the fitting was awesome. Went out there, learned a ton, had a bunch of fun getting to hit a bunch of different clubs, but I also learned, about tightening up dispersion, a better descent angle, and tighter distance. So all those things added together, learned a lot. My fitter was awesome. We had a great time. He even threw me some shafts and stuff that we knew wouldn't be a fit, but it was fun to hit. So if you go to Titleist.com, check out the whole brand new T-Series line of irons. There's something for everybody there. And then also schedule your fitting with your Titleist fitter today. So Titleist.com, check out the T-Series irons. So, excuse me. Been having to clear my throat a lot, just like, that like lingering little thing in there that just hangs on. But hopefully you guys are having a good week. It's a good one. I'm excited. If I'm recording this on a Wednesday night, I should be playing golf tomorrow afternoon. It's supposed to be like 50 degrees here in Metro Detroit. Thursday, Friday is supposed to be awesome days, so super excited to get out. My buddy hit me up, was like, hey, we should go play. And I was like, you know what? If we can find a tee time, let's do it. He found a tee time, so me and my buddy John going to play, the old St. Clair Shores, where I usually go play my league and all that. We're going to go out there, play a little bit, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to get out there and play. I've been hitting a little bit on indoors and on simulators and ranges and stuff. It'd be nice to hit off some grass and of course I'm like now just deliberating about what I'm going to bring in terms of what's in the bag. I think for sure irons are going to be what I talk about today, the Ping Blueprint S's. I'm going to bring those out. And then I think for driver, again, what I talked about today, the Ping 10K, as well as, I don't know, I'm debating whether it's going to be, that's the thing, it's going to be either AI Smoke, QI10, it could be Cobra. I mean, who knows? So I got to figure out my second driver. 3-wood's going to be an interesting one as well. I just got in the AI Smoke 3-woods, the Triple Diamond and the Max Head. I got both those in. And then 7-wood. 7-wood, I think I might bring, I don't know, I might bring the PXG out, because I do have the Paradigm AI Smoke Triple Diamond 7-wood, but I've got another shaft coming for it. So I'm pretty excited. The shaft should be here, I think, Friday. Of course, I'll post a photo of it, but I got a new shaft coming Friday for it, so I don't know if I want to take it out now or just wait till after I reshaft it, so that'll be an interesting one. And then, we're going to see. Wedges, I think I'll probably take my SM10s. I know I haven't, they're shiny and new right now. They are raw, so they will rust, but I might take those out just because the last time I hit those was, when I got fit for them out at TPI, so I might take those out. But yeah, a lot up in the air, and even though I say whatever I'm going to say now, by the time this, I actually get out there on Thursday afternoon, who knows? We'll see if that'll actually be the case. I don't know if it will, so it could change up by then, which who knows? But excited to go play, and then putter wise, I think I'm going to take the. I don't know. See, that's the other thing too. Like I think I'm going to take the DF3, the new Lab DF3. I was putting around with it in the office. Really, really good. I'll talk about that probably next week, but I like it. But also, I was thinking about breaking out the old trusty TaylorMade Spider Tour X prototype. So I have that, and then I also have all the Adele putters that I put some shorter shafts in. So I've got 3 of them with 33-inch shafts. The ones they sent me with the interchangeable hosels all were 35-inch. Ripped all those shafts out and put in different shafts, so now I've got a bunch of 33-inch ones that I can play with. So I might take one of those, and then I think that will be about it. So yeah, it could change, or I'll bring it all. Heck with it, just bring like 40 clubs. So I'm playing 9 holes, so why not bring like 40 clubs? But But no, it's been a fun week. I went to the range, went to the indoor sim. I went to here in Michigan. We have I think they're kind of all over the place, but 5-iron golf, which is kind of like a high end, kind of cool place to hang out, play golf, whatever. But they run TrackMan, which is nice. So I went in there the other day, hit some balls, and got some numbers on some stuff, so we could at least talk about some clubs today, because I'll get some stuff out on the course, but that's not till tomorrow, and I got a show that needs to come out. So I went out, hit some balls, went to 5-iron golf, brought like a whole. I actually probably brought the fewest clubs that I've really brought to the range in a long time. I pretty much brought Blueprint S irons, Blueprint T 7-iron, so I had both those. AI Smoke Max and Triple Diamond head in the driver. Same thing in 3-wood. And then I had the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. And that was it. I didn't have any wedges. Didn't bring a 7-wood. I just kind of had those pieces because I knew those are the ones I wanted to hit. So went out, brought those out, and hit some balls. And yeah, it was a good day. So we'll talk today about. We'll do some ping. We'll start off with some ping. I know people have been asking me a lot about when I'm doing the G430 Max 10K head. So today will be it. So today will be the time we do it. And yeah, here it is. The ping, the G430 Max 10K head. So this is the Ultra Stability, Ultra Forgiveness head that Ping just released. Kind of the what is it, 4th or 5th one in the line that they're doing now, but a pretty cool driver from the top. I mean, it's definitely big. It's definitely got a big footprint. Cool carbon fiber crown on it, but for the most part, it looks kind of like a Max head. When you set it down, looks kind of like a Max head. It's sits pretty much dead square, maybe just a hair closed. If you're if you're actually, my camera's like going nuts here. It's probably a hair closed when you set it down. Nothing too crazy, but I think it's like a hair. Not too bad. I was running this thing in basically the standard setting with all fit. I've switched out the screw, as you can see in the bottom there. Switching out the screw on it, so that way you have a. So yeah, I can use those, the all fit shafts, but. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't mind the look of it. I think it looks pretty good. I know a lot of people say it's huge. They don't love the size of it, and I totally get that. But I don't mind it at all. I think it's pretty darn solid, and I think it looks pretty good. I know people also complain about the turbulators on there. Whatever. They're there, and it's fine, because when you're hitting the ball, when you're actually hitting the ball, I don't notice them. I don't see them. They're just. I mean, they're there, but I don't get hung up on them. It's not a make or break thing for me. But overall, the shape, I do like it. It's not the most traditional thing in the world, but I think it does look pretty good. This thing does have probably the most shallow face out of all the Ping drivers. The G430 series, really a shallow face there, which is something that. Some people will love, some people won't. It doesn't matter to me. I don't mind, because I don't mind something that's a little shallower, that I have to maybe tee up just a touch lower or anything like that. It's like I said, it's just a little bit shallower than the other ones, but for me, it doesn't really make a big difference. I think it's still a good looking driver. Sound and feel much better than G425, much like the other G430 heads. Definitely more muted sound, definitely better feel, not as harsh. Now, funny, when hitting it next to like the Callaway stuff directly, you don't feel the ball compress as much off the face on this one as I did with the AI Smokes. But I mean, sound and feel were pretty good. I think it does have kind of a little bit of a firmer face to it compared to others. And I was actually hitting with headphones in, so I actually had to take my headphones out and hit some balls just to get kind of that sound out of it, to see what it sounded like. But when I had my headphones in, hitting balls, and you weren't hearing anything, it felt, like I said, just a hair firmer, but still really good. So overall, really like it. The looks, all that, seem really good. And after the first few swings, the biggest thing you notice is that it is crazy straight. It is extremely straight. All it does is produce a similar ball flight the whole time. I was hitting nothing but straight shots to slight draws on it, and that is basically what I hit the whole time. It was extremely consistent. A few balls that maybe fell to the right as as the ball kind of fell down. But it really, I mean, everything, kind of the whole right side was out of play for me for the most part for everything I hit. But this thing just kind of hit the same repetitive draw over and over and over again. It was kind of crazy. All right, so my battery in my camera just died, so I apologize. But yes, I'm kind of like, where did I leave off? But anyway, G430 Max 10K, extremely consistent, extremely straight, and it really, was just basically I was hitting little draws the whole time I was hitting it. So into some of the numbers of it because I thought it was pretty darn good. So this one here, I was using a what do you call it? A Strixon Z-Star Diamond ball. So actually kind of a high spin ball, but it was actually just what was in my my golf bag at the time. So I used it for everything because they did have like chrome softs at this place, 5-iron golf, but I didn't use those. I pulled this out of my bag and that's what I went with. So that's the ball. So it's a little spinnier ball than I would typically play, but it's apples to apples like when we get to the irons. So average carry for all shots. And again, I tell you guys, like I don't keep just perfect shots. If I don't hit it perfectly, I pretty much keep it there, unless it's like literally dribbled or topped, then maybe I'll not do that then. But I try to keep everything in there, misses, whatever. So 224 is my carry, 247 total was my my average through all shots, with an actual variation of only 18 yards, which is kind of crazy from longest to shortest. Only 18 yards difference, I think for me is a pretty consistent shot there. And then in terms of ball speed, I averaged 142.8, which I know isn't like blazing or anything, but that's kind of where I am at the moment in the winter. So 142.8 for ball speed, smash factor of a 144, which I think that's actually kind of high for me. I mean, 144 average over a bunch of shots, because you see some stuff that's lower there, but overall I think that wasn't too bad. Spin, it was 3182. So 3,182, and that's over all shots. And again, I think if you kind of look on there, the deviation there was almost 1,000. So I know there was a lot of shots that I hit that were definitely under 3,000, and I think there were a couple, high in the face or kind of low heelers that had a little higher spin. Because when I go through the actual numbers on it, and I look in those shots, which again I wish the TrackMan app that you got, the analysis app would let you actually like show them all. I had to like go into to get my launch angle. I had to basically go in and like put it in a spreadsheet, which is a pain. But yeah, for spin, there was a lot of 20. So actually, a lot of 26s, 27. So that's where and that's where I kind of live. I mean, there's 26, 27, some low 3,000s, from some a 34, a 34, 31. But everything, most of the stuff was kind of like the 26, 27. There was a 24, 19 in there. So some lower shots there, but not crazy high spin by any means, and pretty consistent as well. Like I said, about 1,000 RPM. And honestly, there was one double in there. Like I just looked, and there was one 63.90, so I bet that plays a little bit into into what into that number, but not too bad. And then launch angle averaged out at 13.2, so really not that bad. And that honestly takes into account like a really low. There was like one to almost two kind of really low draws that were hit a little further left, and then there was one hit kind of like high toe off to the right. So you got a 9.9 in there and a 23.9, so a little more variation than you would like, but still overall averaging out at 13.2 after everything else. And 13.2 when you start looking at all the launch angles is pretty close. I mean, you basically run between what I was looking on here, basically between 16 and the mid 12s. So 12.5 to 16 is kind of where I was running with most shots, with a couple on the ends of the extreme side. So that one pretty good there. And then my club head speed was basically 99ish. I think it came out to, where was the total there? course, I can't like find it on here now because it basically 99, so 99 even, and there were a few over hundreds, and then a couple that were not quite as fast on there. But definitely this winter I have slowed down. I need to look into moving a little more of doing some more work with my body to get swinging faster and get back up to some speeds that I used to have. But 99 was basically my average over everything, and with that, everything I was hitting here. And the smash factor, like I said, 144. And yeah, those are pretty much it. Max height on a lot of these were, I think the lowest one was like that one that launched out low was like 60, but everything else was pretty much just about 100 in the high 90s and stuff like that. And I was hitting this with the Graphite Design Tour AD VF. So that's what I was hitting with there, which is a little kind of lower launching, lower spinning shaft. If I'd been put in something that launched a little higher, I might be able to pull a few more yards out of it just from that alone. I think I could add a little bit of launch and hit it a little higher. But overall, extremely impressed with consistency. When I looked at like the dispersion, the oval was pretty small. Everything was just kind of left to target, dead straight target. Everything was just a little bit left of that. But the starting line, everything pretty much started, right down center, and then just kind of had a draw to it. But even the bad swings seemed to have just a slight bit more draw or fade to them. I mean, they were really similar to the really well-struck shots in terms of shot shape. So stability-wise, the starting line on a lot of those shots all was pretty much the same. It was pretty impressive. It was a pretty good head. I'm excited to take it on the course because as much as I love going into sims and all that, when I get on the course is where I kind of really see what happens there, and we'll see what this thing can do on the course and what kind of confidence you have out there when you only have one ball instead of 75 or whatever I was hitting today with this. So. But a lot of good shots there. Pretty impressed with it, and I think this is going to be a good head. I think it's definitely going to make the rotation out on the course for at least a little while. And we'll get out there and hit some balls with it and get out and play. Like I said, I might go play with it. What will be today out there, but and overall, I mean, when Ping says, "Hey, this is kind of our most forgiving driver," it seems to be that way. It seems to be extremely stable. And it was moving pretty good. I mean, ball speed wise, I think the Callaway may have it by a slight bit, but not a ton. So, G430 Max 10K is really solid. I do have to say it's, I was gonna say it's not as high launching as I thought, but I think it still is. Even though I put kind of a mid-low launching shaft in there, I think it is kind of a flatter launching club than I expected. I expected it, I think, being the 10K head to be super high launching, just straight up in the air and go. But this, I think, definitely has a little flatter, more penetrating ball flight to it. So, 430 Max 10K, impressed. It will make the course possibly tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow. But and then we move into the irons, which I know everybody's kind of super excited about. I was too, actually. So basically have the Blueprint S. Here, which is the cavity back model. We've seen a ton on tour. And then also have the Blueprint T, which is the actual blade. So if you're a higher skilled player, better player than me, the T may be right up your alley. But the T is a little bit compact. It's between the two, definitely a slightly different shape between the two. The S has a little more rounded toe. It's still pretty square, and it's still a little more angled than some other irons out there. But this thing here is a good looking iron for sure. And it's funny because when I saw the first photos on online, when we got some photos from tour, when these things kind of leaked out there, they looked like they had a super long blade length from heel to toe. It was going to be just crazy long, and I didn't know how that was going to look. And Ping irons to me, not everything I fall in love with immediately. So the Blueprint S, I love the back of it. I love the badging. I love the cavity on it. All that looked really good. But I was a little worried by to actually see it in person. But actually seeing it in person, it looks really good. The blade length is, definitely a little longer heel to toe than T is, but I actually set them down next to my my T150s, and honestly, they were pretty similar. They're different shape, but blade length from, hosel or from heel inside hosel to toe was pretty much identical between those two. Very, very close, and just a good looking iron. And I can tell right out of the gate, the feel is phenomenal. I know that Ping has not always been known for, super soft, crazy forgings. But I do have to say that I hit this thing actually really well today, and it felt as good as pretty much majority of the forgings out there. So if you're somebody who plays a forged CB from another brand, these are going to be close. If they're not all the way there, they are definitely close. They're extremely solid. They have a nice heavy kind of thud to them when you hit the ball solid, and overall just really impressed with how good they felt. And I think I had a pretty low bar, unfortunately. I didn't think they'd feel that great. And when you hit them, it was definitely solid, and you could definitely tell these things are soft. Dead center strikes were almost one of those, you almost don't feel it. It just kind of compresses the ball, and the ball just jumps off the face, and it goes. Stuff that you miss definitely felt a little firmer. It didn't have as hard of like a click as I thought it would have. I thought it would be definitely more audible when you missed it, but as you missed it, it still had a fairly soft or a soft and muted sound to it, on there. So nothing too harsh. And now if you do hit it thin, and you hit it way, a little too far off the toe or whatever, you'll get a little bit of vibration up through the hands, as you'd expect with more of a player's club. But it was actually more forgiving than I thought. Now it doesn't create a ton of ball speed or anything like that, but it does. It is more forgiving than I expected it to be. And you did get away with some stuff, and it actually, distance-wise, was a little better than I thought. And compared to the T, it was a little bit longer, even though they're pretty similar specs in terms of lofts and all that. But the Blueprint S was pretty impressive, and this thing, I just came stock with the Dynamic Gold, Dynamic Gold 120. Both of them had that. And just like a Tour Velvet 360 grip on there. So nothing too fancy, nothing crazy, but they did have a really good feel to them, and I hit them pretty darn well for just being kind of stock right out of the box, anything like that. So the Blueprint S's, I do have the full 4-through pitching wedge set, so those are going to probably go out with me tomorrow or today when I go play. But the Blueprint S's feel-wise really, really solid, and honestly, really easy to square up. It was interesting. The T's, I kind of struggled squaring them up. I hit a lot of balls a little further right and left. Just it was tough to me to get stuff started online. With these, I think when I was looking at, I think face angle or something like that, they were extremely tight. It was like things were just like zeroed. I wouldn't say zeroed out, but they were pretty darn solid in terms of face to path. 0.7 was my average, 0.7, and that was a variation of 1.8. So I was pretty much hitting these things everywhere where, which I was pretty much dead straight on these things all day. I mean, the first few balls I hit were basically dead straight, and they just fell a hair left. I mean, that was it. They were just so tight. When you look down that line, it was just like they started there, the ball would just kind of fall a hair to the left, and that was it. So they were pretty solid. With the 7-iron, with the S's, 155 was my average carry. 161 total, but 155.1 was average. Definitely saw some balls over 160 there. And then, curvature was just 5 right, which was kind of pretty impressive. Club head speed, funny thing is club head speed between the T and the S were exactly the same at 84.5 miles an hour. But ball speed, 112.7. So that's going to be a little faster than the T's. 133 smash, and then spin was 62.05 with a variation of 262. So 262 RPM, so extremely tight. Saw the same shot every time, it seemed like. It was just really, really consistent. But those things there, and then launch on this, because again, the TrackMan thing is going to give me a thing. And the launch on the S averaged out to 20.9 for a 7-iron. So these are all 7-iron numbers. 155, 161 total, 112 ball speed, 112.7 ball speed, 133 smash, 62.05 for spin, and averaged 20.9, so almost 21 degrees in terms of launch. So really, really solid. And again, I was really impressed with how what you could get away with that iron, because I expected it to be, once I saw it and realized it was just like a straight forged CB, I kind of thought it was going to be a little more demanding, and it would take a little more to, you had to be a little more precise with it, and you can get away with some shots. Now, is it as forgiving as, say, like a P770 or a Mizuno Pro 245 or something like that? No, definitely not. But I think it'll play in a little bit of the realm. It'll definitely play in like the 223s, some of those, the Cobra King Tours. I don't know if it'll necessarily play with the T150s. Those might be a little hot for here. But I think a player who can play a T150 might be able to play this fairly well. If you play a T100, you can definitely play this. But I think it plays in that realm of like players' cavity, like just slightly above players' cavities, like the multi-piece stuff. Like I said, the 223s with the slots, T100s that have a little tungsten in them. The Cobra Pros. I'm just trying to think of what else. I think it'll definitely play with the PXG CBs. I think they're a little more forgiving than that, but I don't think it quite carries the firepower of the Ts, the 0317Ts. So just thinking of some irons off the top of my head that I think it'll play well with the CB from Callaway, the Apex CB. To me, that CB is a little bit more forgiving, a little bit deeper cavity to it, and I think it'll kind of play in that realm. So if you're a guy looking for a player's cavity, wants a little bit more help, doesn't mind a little longer blade length, I think the Blueprint S is going to be really good. And honestly, feel-wise, it is definitely for me the best feeling ping iron I've ever hit. And I have not been the biggest ping fanboy. I haven't hit them everything that they've ever made. But this is the best feeling ping that I've ever hit. So the Blueprint S is really, really good. I thought it was pretty solid, and interesting that it was a couple miles an hour faster in ball speed. When I was looking at the specs on it, the Blueprint S and the Blueprint T, both playing off a 33 degree 7 irons. They're both the same loft, but I was getting a little bit more ball speed on average, and a little more consistency out of the S. So really solid iron there. I really like the S. And then the T, the blade, looks beautiful. It really does. It has like a great, as I say T and I put up the S, but the blade looks great. It really does. It's got a great shape to it. It kind of, from the photos of the back, maybe looks a little disproportionate, but when you set it down, it looks great. Almost, zero offset to it. And again, feels really, really good. Your misses on it, though, you're definitely going to feel more. When you miss it a little low and miss it off the toe a little bit, you're going to get a little more audible and physical feedback. That vibration is going to be there. It's going to sting the hands just a touch more if you catch it, 2 grooves thin, or catch it off, near the end of the score lines out on the toe. Those shots you're definitely going to feel it, and you're going to be more penalized for it as well. Feel, though, when you hit it solid is really, really good. It's a really soft forging. You're really going to like the feel, and if you're kind of that precision type player who is going to want to work the ball in any way, you're going to be able to do with this iron with absolute ease. Really narrow sole, but it actually looks like it has a good amount of bounce. I think turf interaction should be pretty good. Same thing with the S. I think the S has a really nice size sole to it. Thinner than the 230 for sure, but I think this thing's going to have a good amount of bounce as well and get through the turf pretty quickly. They both have kind of a killed leading edge. I won't call it a pre-worn, but I'll call it kind of a killed leading edge. It's good, got a good roundness to it, so it should fire through the turf pretty easily. And then when I look at the T, average iron or distance wise, the T was 150 with 155 or 156.5 carry. 19 right, though, was curvature, so 5 right of the S, 19 with the T. Definitely saw more ball there, but both, like I said, club head speed on both, 84.5. Ball speed, 2.5 miles an hour for slower. 110.3 was my average, or 112.7 was my average with the S. And then smash factor 131, so a little bit lower there. And then spin rate, a little bit higher, almost 64.94. So again, though, very consistent. With the B, or would that be the S? I was basically at a variation of 262 RPM. With the spin rate on the T's, it was 286. So I mean, really similar. I was, kind of, there wasn't a big variation in spin number between those, but about 200, almost 300 RPM more spin with the T as opposed to the S. And then, my face of path, 2.7 instead of 0.7. So, I was just kind of a little bit more over the place with the T. And then launch angle there on the T was 20.2. So about 0.7 degrees lower than the S. So pretty similar, but you could tell there's just that little bit of forgiveness that you don't have with that smaller blade, the shorter blade length. You just don't quite get away. And these had the same grip, same shafts, all that, both 7-irons that I was hitting. And yeah, they just didn't, you got penalized a little bit. There was a little bit more variation in terms of total distance and stuff with the T's than the S, which I think you'd expect. If you're going to hit a blade versus a cavity back, that's what you're going to get out of it. But feel on both really, really good. I'd almost argue, I think I was more consistent with the S, so I'm going to argue and say that the S almost feels better than the T to me. But they both feel really good. Ping did a great job with feel, and I know with this set of irons, when you're looking at a player's cavity, player's blade, like those, sound and feel is such a huge thing. And with both these, it's just that kind of whoosh and thud as you get into the ball. And they both just hit it heavy, and that's a good feeling when you when you're swinging it well and hitting those things solid. So, if you're an elite player looking for a really good blade, the Blueprint T looks great. It's got more of that, I want to call it almost like JDM look, where it's got the really sharp toe, really boxy toe. It's a really squared off, kind of chiseled iron. If you like that look, you're going to probably love the Blueprint T. The S is just a little softer. It's still pretty squared off, pretty chiseled. It's, more so than say, the T150 or, something like that, but, definitely has a little more angle to it, but it's softer than the T in terms of looks. A little longer blade length, that might fit your eye, or if you like something stubby, the Blueprint T definitely has a little stubby look to it. But the Blueprint S definitely has a little longer heel to toe. But both really, really good irons for the better player. If you're a better player, and again, I'm that guy who's like between a 9 and 10. I think I ended the year at 10.3. I started the year at like 9. If you're in that realm, I think these are kind of on a little bit at upper limit of what you'll play, in terms of, on good days, they're going to be really good. On bad days, the T especially, I don't think if you're a 10, you shouldn't be touching the T. I feel like if you're a T guy, you're probably 5 or below. But around 10, 10 and on to tour, I think you can play the S. Anything above a 10, I think bad days are really going to be exposed, unfortunately. But just a really good set of irons, and really, really solid. I was really impressed with both of them, and honestly, everything Ping had this year, super impressed. So really good stuff. Really excited to kind of play more of these things. Like I said, I'm going to get the S's out on the course here this week, and we'll kind of check those things out and see how they really play. So the Ping stuff is really solid. I think they did a great job. It's a small release for this year, but really, really good. I think they kind of nailed it with the S's. I think the S is going to be a big seller for them. I know that size of the market's a little smaller than say the G430 players out there, but I think for players who are going to be in between I-230 and Blueprint S. It'll be kind of a tougher decision. You go I-230 if you need the forgiveness. If you want the great feel and all that, go Blueprint S. But they're all all 3 items between the 10K driver, the 2 irons, really solid. Excited to play more. The T's I won't play more. I just got a 4.7 pitch with that, and kind of put those will kind of go away. But the S's will definitely be on there. I hit a little bit of the 4-iron as well, and it actually was better than I thought. It was not quite as long as I needed to be. And again, kind of have to hit it on course to see for sure what that looks like. But right out of the gate there, really good shots were like 185, and I try to hit like 5-iron about 180, but so we'll see. We'll have to get on the course and see. But the 4-iron to replace that and put like a 230 4-iron or something like that in there to add a little ball speed and a little launch would be no problem. So you could make probably a pretty cool combo set out of the 230 and the Blueprint S's. I do have to say that would be probably a pretty sweet setup. So Yeah, I think that's it for today with the ping stuff. I know I got a ton of stuff. I mean, we're gonna be doing Callaway, TaylorMade drivers, and Cobra driver. We got a whole lot of stuff. Fairways from Callaway, fairways from TaylorMade. We got a whole lot of stuff to go. So it's gonna be exciting spring, and I'm hoping that this warm weather kind of hangs around. It looks like it's not. It looks like it's like this week it'll get warm, and then by the end of next week it'll get like nice and cool again. But hopefully we can get some warm days and I can get out and play a little bit. But that's all I've got for this week. If you're not following on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. I appreciate it. We did a Q&A yesterday. A whole lot of fun. Always love chatting with you guys, chatting golf. So follow me at Club Junkie Pod on Instagram. And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, whatever. That'd be great. Yes, you can watch this on YouTube, which is just me at my desk putting some clubs up there. And then also, wherever you listen to podcasts, like, subscribe, whatever. That would be awesome. Really appreciate it. And then before we go, just a reminder, show brought to you by Titleist and the T-Series irons. So please go to Titleist.com. Check out the brand new T100, T150, T200, T350, and the U505 and T200 utility builds. So a lot of options, great things. Go set your fitting up at Titleist.com. That's all I've got. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good weekend.